Hello, hello. We're doing day 6 of Tyson's route. So we should be able to catch up to where I was in Dean's in this session, hopefully. Because it depends on how fast I read, right? I was in a state of consciousness that was somewhat between sleeping and being awake. God knows how early it was. Adjusting microphone, whatever. I would have rolled over to check my phone, but I was still out of it. Ugh. I bury my head in my pillow and try to get some sleep. Something was nagging at me, and the more I thought about it, the more I noticed the pit in my stomach growing. After tossing and turning, we're going to visit the vault. Man, I don't know a password yet. Like, whatever. Password. Nope, that's about right. So much for that. We're gonna give up again. It was far too early for this, so I decided to head back to my room and prepare for breakfast. By the time we're all assembled in the dining room, Orlando went into the kitchen and brought us out breakfast. You know, you don't have to carry it for us. This is a lot of the same, isn't it? Just kind of realized this is like the third time now that I'd be reading this. So, okay. Hey, Dave, come with me and Haas. Oh, okay, so it's like, so this is the scenario in which, like, in the other route, in Dean's route, it's you, Dean, and Roswell go to the pool, right? Yeah. Huh? If I'm helping him out, may as well show you the ropes. Wait, why me? Oh, right, they were gonna go, like, to the... Yeah, okay, so we're doing this. That's neat. Well, fine, don't come. See what I care. Come on, Dave, won't hurt to learn something. Might be able to help me out in the future. You never know. Okay, I'll come. If you're lucky, I'll let you have a single, singlet after... Singlet? I don't know what that means. Should I be concerned? Nah, not yet at least. After we broke off to change into clothes more befitting working out, we meet in the gym. Alright, so anything in particular you want, or don't know. Do you think I should start off doing weights right off the bat? Sure. Alrighty. Alright, Dave, you can spot him. Wait, me? Yeah, it's easy. Here, I'll show you. I followed Tyson over to the bench where Haas was already on his back, stretching his wrists. All right, Haas, you take the bar. And Dave, just guide it. I don't have to pull or anything? Nope. Just need to keep it level and be ready to help lift it up all the way if he's struggling. So I just stand at the end like this, right? Tyson only grumbles after grabbing me by the hip and pulling me back against him. This far back. Don't go dangling your sack over his face. Not everyone's into that. Oh, right. Sorry, Haas. All good, buddy. Without another word, Haas began lifting the bar up and down, and I felt like I was really only there to show... there for show with how he seemed to be managing. That said, Tyson didn't move from behind me and just left his hands on my hips, almost holding me against his front. I felt my cheeks burn, trying to keep myself focused or making sure the bar I was supporting didn't crush Haas. With one last push, Haas put the bar back up and sat up. Whoa, not a record, but that wasn't so bad. Seemed to be doing all right to me. Yeah, form wasn't so bad. Do it enough times and you'll be a natural. Might give my arms a rest for a bit, though, and get on the treadmill. Welcome to join me if you want, Dave. Don't know what I'm going to do yet. Probably weights. Haas wandered over to the other side of the gym and stepped up on the treadmill and started messing with the controls. Tyson, on the other hand, lingered nearby, sizing up the weight bench. Well, obviously we're gonna hang with Tyson. I turned away for a second to see Tyson had taken off his singlet and was... Oh, is that what that is called? Like his shirt? Maybe? I don't know. And was messing with the weights on the bar. Are you going to need someone to spot you for this? It's why I brought you down here. Oh, okay. Then you're going to see how well you do. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Dave is going to... That's not going to end well. Nervous? Oh, only if you're expecting me to lift the same amount of weight as you. You do this way more often. Well, guess we'll just have to see how good you are after I'm done. I watched as Tyson laid down and grabbed the bar. I barely had my time to ready myself before he started lifting. By comparison to Haas, Tyson lifted the bar up and down methodically with a strange sense of primal vigor. What kind of description is that? Are you all right? I'm fine. I flinched with how he growled out of the words. Well, I can't read. Not missing a beat. Come on, push me a little. Don't know if I was sporting for a bitch. Keep going, you can do it. You seem to have this covered already. I don't know, he probably likes being called a bitch, you know. There was only the slightest pause in Tyson's rhythm as he upped the intensity, almost yelling out as he did so. A bitch, huh? What followed next was an incoherent grunt, growls, and other sounds as Tyson continued to lift. I was half thankful that he was preoccupied with his workout to take out the insult on me directly. At some point, he began to snarl, going with almost no sign of stopping, to the point Haas looked over from where he was to see if anything was okay. Eventually, with a little bit of help, Tyson put the bar back up, slumping back on the bench, out of breath. So doing bench presses is good? You're about to find out. Your turn. Wait, really? Yep, get on the bench and I'll spot you. As I did, I was told and watched as Tyson adjusted the weight, notably just removing some that he'd added on earlier. So we're just gonna take this slow, yeah? Don't want you hurting yourself. Ah, how sweet. Yeah. Tyson took the bar and eased it up down so I was holding the weight as I began. Yeah. Go my own pace. Dave can't handle anyone else's. If only the two of them as role models of how best to do this. I'd seen it done before, sure, but doing was another matter altogether. Just remember to keep your breathing even. It'll help you keep the timing right. I nodded and kept going. It was slow, but it seemed easy enough. I could probably do this again with more weight, but for now, this was all right. As Tyson helped me put the bar up, he shuffled closer, his crotch right over my forehead. Hey, pup, like the view down there? Jesus Christ, Tyson. Is everyone in this game horny? Or is it just, like, the people that I choose? I'm going to guess that, like, everyone is. That seems about right? Because it's like I get that I've resigned myself to the style of writing when I choose to play, like, a furry game. And I've been here long enough to, like, it's the average. I guess it's just different since I'm, like, recording and uploading these, that it feels different now, but it is what it is. He adjusted himself, his groin almost brushing up against my nose. Yeah, I'm gonna get up. I got up, rolling away from Tyson, trying to keep my eyes elsewhere. Aw, had enough already? Here, I thought you'd like the smell so much. Yeah, well, maybe. I trail off as Haas came over to join us. So far this has been an alright workout. Yeah. Beats my morning routine, although that's just getting stale probably. You work out in the morning? Pilates, so sort of. Ugh, sounds gay. And you aren't? Uh, I mean, at least it's not the one with music, right? Hey, I can dig working out to music. I didn't think I could picture, I don't think I can picture Tyson doing Zumba, Dave. Hey, I reckon I'd be able to keep up. It's just workout with music, right? It's, something like that. You have no idea, do you? I'd bet I'd rock at it. It's just physical movement, right? Well, I looked between Haas, who knew better, and Tyson, who was clueless. I don't say I've ever seen you move in that way. Fuck, I'd bet I'm a natural at it. You hear that, Dave? Might have to get Tyson to give you a private lesson. Oh, I'm sure Dave would enjoy a private lesson plenty. Jesus Christ. Anyway, it's almost about time for lunch, right? Not really. I mean, I guess if you're hungry, you can go get a snack. Not up for working up a sweat, Dave? No, not that. I just, don't really know how long you actually go at it for. Worked as a gym receptionist, but didn't really keep tabs on how long people actually spent doing the things, you know? What, you think you're spending time as also hooking up in the shop? Okay. I'd call you out for bullshitting, but I've been hit on in the gym showers too, although not after a hard workout. Guess people are just like that. Hey, don't knock it till you've tried it. Post-workout sex is pretty great. Jesus Christ, okay. Wait, but what about getting caught? Fuck it, who cares? Why does that not surprise me that you'd be so blasé about that? Hey, if I'm taking the risk of bending you over in public, you better be honored you're worth the risk. Okay, we split off to do our own thing within the gym and went until it was time for lunch proper. We ended up back in the kitchen eating leftover pizza the night before. Pizza's still good. Well, of course. Okay, so I see that, like... Okay. Oh, hey, Ty, what's up? You want to go watch a movie? Me, movie? Oh, sure, I guess. Why? Do I need a reason? 'Cause if I do, I don't have one. I'll just watch it by myself then. Doesn't bother me any. No, I didn't have any other plans. A movie sounds great. Great. I'll meet you in the room or whatever, where we had dinner. Gonna go throw on a hoodie or whatever. Oh, Ty was already on his way out the door before I could even get another word in. Guess I'm meeting him upstairs. I figured I might as well set up the thing, which would save some time. It didn't take long to get the main bits sorted for whatever movie Tyson intended to watch, but without knowing specifically, I couldn't load it up beforehand. Oh, nice. As Tyson entered the room, he flicked off the lights and wandered over, pushing me into one of the beanbags lightly while he looked at the movie options. So what are we watching? Don't know. Doesn't matter anyway. What do you mean? The question fell on deaf ears, though, as Tyson kept browsing, almost seemingly picking at random in the end, and sitting down next to me. Okay, movie is starting. Sit there and be quiet, yeah? You sure? There was no way the movie was holding my attention with how Tyson was behaving, but he seemed to be equally distracted. He wasn't even looking at the screen. You okay? Yep. Neither of us said anything for a moment, the sound of the movie playing as the background noise. Dave, so, yeah? Did you need to talk about something? Lay off, alright? Talking about this sort of shit is hard. What stuff? Us. I let the word hang in the air for a moment, blindsided. This could go any number of ways, and immediately I didn't want to be the one to make the first move. There was a few more minutes before Ty made any sort of sound, mumbling in the first time under his breath before slapping himself and turning to address me proper. So, who's better looking, me or Haas? Wait, what? Who's the better looking one between me and the lion? Oh. Sure. Like, I'm on the Tyson route. I mean, you sort of have that scruffy, rugged quality, right? I mean, that saying about beauty is in the eye of the beholder, yeah? I think scruffy's pretty good. Sure, I guess. There wasn't anything more than silence for the next half hour, Tyson's eyes wandering up to the movie as he sat and stared. Expression seemingly unshifting, gaze unfocused. I'd half forgotten what he'd asked me until I remember I heard him grumbling to himself, pulling at his fur on his arm. Hey, whoa, Ty. What? Don't do that, you'll hurt yourself. Yeah, well, maybe. I know it's, I've heard a bunch of people, would be a hypocrite if I couldn't take it too. Okay, seriously, what's bothering you? Nothing, bullshit. Fine. What, you know what's bothering me? You. I can't figure you out. You can't figure me out? Yeah, like, you did me a solid in school. I did you one back. Figured that'd be the end of it when it was all over. Well, you kind of got kicked out. That's my point. The hell kind of person checks in on their bully after school? Well, I like to think we became friends at some point, right? Yeah, I've heard that line before. What? Look, you didn't have to invite me out to this thing, but you did. That was a cool move. But I can't for the life of me figure out why. Ty suddenly got up and headed to the door. Hey, wait. But he kept on walking, storming towards the back door. Ty, hang on. Leave me alone, Dave. You know, we're gonna pursue this bitch. I grabbed him by the arm and tried to hold him back, immediately finding resistance. Dude, calm down. Just tell me what's wrong. You're such a pain in the ass, you know that? You don't get how frustrating you are. You don't get how fortunate you are, Dave. You have a bunch of nice friends, and what do I have? No one except you. But that's okay. No, grow up. That's not how this works. You think that everyone can get along. You think people are just good people deep down. Sorry to be the one to tell you, but people are assholes. That's bullshit, Tyson, and you know it. Oh, yeah? Tyson pushed into my personal space, getting right up into my face. Let's work down the list. First, we have a bear who thinks his dick. Thinks with his dick. God knows if he's anything meaningful about you. If he knows anything meaningful about you. Oh, that's unfair to Dean. It might be true, though. It's mostly true. Then you have the two lard asses who follow you around because you're the leader, but they push you around like you're nothing but by acting nice. Then you have the pretty boy who cares more about his claws than your feelings, and a musclehead who seems to be more preoccupied with swimming than talking to anyone. I snapped. In the next moment, I was torn between headbutting him, slapping him, kneeling him in the groin, or just a combination of all three. I shove him back suddenly, throwing my weight behind the move. Oh yeah? And how's that make you any better? I'm not, and I'm not upfront about it. But I'm upfront about it, yeah. But you know what the real kick in the balls is? And what is it, Tyson? What could possibly be the one thing that tops everything? That maybe because of you, Tyson cuts himself off, looking away. You know what? Fuck it. I don't care anymore. What? I'm going home. I'll walk for all I care. Hitchhike, whatever. I'm out. But he didn't add anything onto it. Starting to walk away towards the forest. We're gonna stop him, because that'd be dangerous to do. I closed the distance between where I stood and Tyson, grabbing him by the back of his hoodie. Dave, let go. No, you started to scare me, Ty. I don't know what's caused all this, but something's not right, and I want to help. Oh, no, I want to at least try to read that line. You're better than... Before I realized what happened, Tyson had spun around and jabbed me square in the nose, my vision going dark for a few moments as I collapsed to the ground. Ow. My head was spinning, and through my blurry vision, I could make out Ty lingering, watching me. Don't go. You're better off without me, Dave. Enjoy your month or whatever. I managed to get up to my hands and knees, the world still spinning, and I was fairly certain my nose was bleeding. I croaked out my want for him to stay, but he kept walking, and soon enough he disappeared among the trees beyond the backyard and its forest proper. I don't know how long I'd been there on the ground, but eventually I felt myself getting picked up and brought inside. Let me patch you up. My vision returned, and I looked at Sal, rummaging through the first aid kit. What happened out there? I sank into my shoulders slightly, not really wanting to admit it. I got punched. I can see that. Sal started to clean me up, wiping the blood from my mouth and nose with something that smelled alcoholic. It stung, but Sal held me steady as he continued to work. It's not what you think, though. I heard the yelling. Oh. Sal refused to look me in the eyes, and the longer the silence went between us, the more I wondered just how much he'd overheard. And you brought me inside? I couldn't leave you outside. You were hurt. Sal eyed me curiously, for a moment before shaking his head. I don't mean to pry, but... What's up? I think I understand. As someone who didn't do well with, that doesn't do well with talking with others, I think he's struggling in the same way. Well, sure, but I don't think I've seen him that worked up or that wild. Can I tell you a story? Sure. It was one of the first few times I liked someone. The feeling was so foreign to me, it drove me insane. By the time I finally got to vent it out, it came out uncontrolled, and I made a mess of the situation. They didn't want to talk to me after that. In fact, they avoided me from then on out. It was terrible. Oh, I'm sorry, Sal. It's fine, really. My point is, maybe whatever's bothering Tyson is just because he doesn't know how to properly vent. And given what I saw, it's no wonder. He needs friends badly. You think so? Sal sighed, shaking his head. I'm not volunteering, but he'd benefit from having more than just you, yes. I'm worried that you're putting yourself out too much, and he's going to take advantage of that, more than what he is already. Hey Sal, can I ask your opinion on something? Always. With what you just said, do you think Tyson's situation is the same? It's possible. But I'd caution you around Tyson if it's the case. Affection for another can run deep and mess with your head in the best and worst ways. I'd worry that he's either mistaking his feelings for something else, or doesn't understand how you should be treating someone in the relationship. Please understand, I don't mean to lead you on one way or another. Just be careful. I will. Promise. I'm glad. As the day went on, Sal and I just talked about stuff while people filed in for dinner, or rather, finding themselves brought into the conversation. By the time everyone assembled, everyone was aware, or at least potentially aware of what had transpired with Tyson earlier, and why he wasn't around. I still reckon it's bullshit. He had no right to talk to you that way, Dave. I shot Sal a look, and he looked back in kind. The one thing we'd neglected to tell the others, or rather seemed to intentionally omit, was where he lay into me. Sal had done a good job of patching me up that no one seemed to immediately notice. Seemed strange, though. He seemed normal this morning. Maybe something happened. Yeah, it's like that's an appropriate excuse. Oh, yeah, like that's an appropriate. Okay, so it's more like, yeah, sarcastic, I guess. He's just a jerk. Some people are just like that. Not everyone, though. If you're looking for a boyfriend, Dave, pick someone who treat you right. Like, okay, Dean. Dean pointed to himself, ignoring the others all staring daggers at him for not picking his moment correctly. In all seriousness, though, did he really leave? Seems strange he wouldn't at least take his things with him. Hope he doesn't get sick. Speaking as someone trying to shake it off, he's going to have a rough time if he's hitchhiking all the way back home with it. Well, it's his call in the end, right? Yeah, but he could have left on better terms at least. As heartless as it sounds, him leaving doesn't really affect anything, though. So that's that upside. That's not very fair, Roswell. But it's true. It doesn't affect the scavenger hunt. He didn't really interact with the rest of us in the first place, so where's the problem? I guess, but you don't have to say it so bluntly. Sorry. I guess there's nothing we can really do about it, though, right? Not really. Only way would be if you could somehow call him and get him to come back so we could organize him a cab or whatever, right? Assuming he has his phone on him, or he has reception. Fair point. Doubt you'd get any reception if you were deep enough in the woods, right? Over dinner, the conversation went mostly the same, with very little else exciting happening during the course of the day. I got halfway through my meal before wondering if Tyson was stuck in the woods or on his way home. I excused myself and headed towards my room, pausing to look towards the back door. No idea why. Maybe I was hoping Tyson would come back through the door. Only thing that greeted me was the sound of a distant storm brewing. With the thunder rolling in overhead, I figured it was best to settle in for the night. As I lay on my bed listening to the thunder, my thoughts wandered. Tyson. I twisted my thumbs, trying to make sense of it all. Was it just some huge misunderstanding about him liking me, or was something else going on? Why now? Of all times, he was interested. He hadn't made any moves that I was aware of, right? Just as I started to overanalyze every conversation he and I had had, there was a knock at the door. "Are we answering? Come in." "Sorry." "Sal, what's wrong?" "Just coming in to check in. You were absent for half the dinner. Even if you were sitting in the chair next to me, your mind was elsewhere." "I'm doing okay. I just keep thinking about what happened is all." "Did you need to talk about it?" "I don't think there's anything to talk about, is there? On one hand, he and I go way back, and not for entirely good reasons, but I assumed that over time things were different, you know? He seemed to be getting better, right? You're not going to like my take on it. But some people don't change. Some do, some don't. Tyson seemed to be in the second group." "I know, just... talk about Tyson, yeah. He has a lot of good points, too. Such as... Well, it's hard to put my finger on it, but, I feel safe around him, strangely. That he could take charge and make the call that benefits both of us. At least that's what it was like in school. When he was expelled, well, he still looked out for me when we were hanging out. getting me snacks or whatever. Isn't that just what a good host? Isn't that just being a good host? Sure, but it's how he'd ask, or how he'd just lump things on me as a surprise. Thinking back on it, he knew what I liked more than Roswell does. He never made a big deal about it. Just things like getting my favorite candy from the store and throwing it at me, or when we were hanging out, he'd make sure I was comfortable. This is probably terrible of me to say, but I've yet to see that side of him, and I'd hate to think you were getting swept up in seeing things that don't exist. But at the same time, I don't want to tell you that your feelings is wrong. They aren't my feelings to make that call on. Is it worth asking him outright, do you think? Sal seemed to ponder the idea, keeping his gaze averted. I'm probably not the best one to give advice on this. This is more Orlando's territory, I think. But whatever you decide, I don't think it hurt. Well, I will support you as friends no matter what. Thanks, Sal. That means a lot. I should go and let you get some rest. I'm sort of tired myself and could benefit from the early night. Yeah, probably a good idea. And you know what? If you wake me tomorrow morning, I'll join you on your morning swim. All right, I look forward to it. I watched as Sal excused himself, closing the door behind him. It was almost as if a weight had been lifted from my shoulders, and I felt a lot more relaxed, having had some reassurance that things on the Tyson front were going to work out okay. Well, no one died. Questionable. I kind of thought the days would be more synchronized, I guess. So that's different than what I expected. Somehow, despite the storm raging outside, I fell asleep right as the worst of it hit. I remembered that much, but beyond that, I was out like a light. As my eyes adjusted, though, I realized something was wrong. Wait, what time is it? There was no way it was dawn. It was around dawn, and Sal said he was going to wake me for a morning swim. After checking my phone, it was way after the sun had risen, if the sun itself wasn't a testament to that fact. Maybe he forgot. I figured that was nothing to be done about it and got dressed. Maybe he just didn't want the company. No biggie. There'll be other times. Wait, Sal's not dead, right? I don't want that to happen. I expected Tyson to die. I don't want anything bad to happen to Sal. He's a big, gentle giant. Like, no. I made my way downstairs and looked around. There was no way everyone was still in bed, and no one was around. Hello? No one in the dining room. Anyone here? And yet again, no one in the kitchen. There wasn't a sign of breakfast having been made. Really? Everyone's in bed still? As I was standing around in the kitchen, I heard movement behind me in the dining room. Oh, good. Someone else is up. I'm sorry. I was about to worry. Oh, Roswell, what's wrong? What happened? No sooner had I walked into the room, I saw Roswell trembling, tears running down his face, on the verge of hyperventilating. It's horrible. I think I'm going to be sick. Whoa, okay, buddy. Let's sit you down. I'll see if I can find you a bucket or something. I began to scan the room for anything that could make do in the off chance Roswell's stomach decided to do a somersault. Was it a bad dream or something? Or meekly he looked up at me, almost searching for something before seemingly realizing something. You don't know, do you? Don't know what? There was something about how he said it that sent a chill up my spine. So much that it carried its way down my arms, and I had to shake them. to rid myself of the feeling. Maybe you should see the others. I'll be fine. Uh... As soon as Roswell grabbed his stomach, I rubbed his back, and he just sat and groaned, fighting back from doing what I was hoping he wouldn't. Where are the others? Outside. You'll see them when you leave the back door and head towards the pool. I gave Roswell one last look before I jolted back from the back door. What could have caused Roswell to break like this? Sure enough, I headed in the direction of the pool and saw everyone gathered around a spot in the backyard. Hey, what's everyone looking at? I stopped in my tracks as everyone turned to look at me. What? I looked at everyone in turn, searching for answers before I looked down at Tyson's body. So many things ran through my mind at once. I felt like I was going to faint. All at once, I wanted to scream, cry, wake up if this was all a dream or some combination of them. What happened to you, Tyson? A feeling caught up in my throat and I choked, crying already. Tears started to well up in my eyes. Someone grab him. It's probably better that Tyson doesn't get moved until the police get here, right? Yeah, good idea. I don't know who it was that put their hands on my shoulder. I was too focused on trying to reach out and touch Tyson, but no matter how much I willed my hands to move, they froze halfway, as if afraid that if I were to lay my hands on him, it confirmed this was real. Dave. I looked over my shoulder to see Sal looking down at Tyson's body too, with a 1,000-yard stare. I'm sorry. The more I looked at Tyson's body, the more questions I had. He looked a mess, but how did he get here? Did he die right here after being attacked by... I looked over to everyone present. Was it one of them? I wonder what happened. Whatever did this to him must have been some sort of sick freak. It still feels so surreal. Like I've seen makeup and special effects like this, but only a monster could have done this. He deserved better. Monster, no kidding. That or a wild bear. Hey, I don't like what you're insinuating with that. I don't think any of us did, you included, Dean. No way a bear could have done this. You're sure? Positive. Some of those cuts might pass for bear claws, maybe, but look at his leg. No way he'd escape a bear like that. Maybe it let him escape. But why, though? That's not all, though. On his arm. Bite marks. But they're so small. Right. No bear did this. I'd stake my life on it. But how did he die? It's hard to say. The obvious guess is... that's a long word. Exsanguination? Blood loss? But there's no way to tell what caused these wounds. Can we maybe not stand around it? Him, Dean. It's Tyson, remember? Right, sorry. He has a point, though. The longer we look, the harder it's going to be to process, and maybe we should cover him with something until the police arrive, just in case. Oh, sure. I peel off his hoodie and kneel down next to Ty. If it wasn't for all the blood, he could have just been sleeping. But my eyes kept tracing the long marks across his face and the shredded clothes still on his back. Hey, what's he holding? I didn't want to touch anything just in case the police yelled at us for messing with the scene of the crime or whatever. I'm going to investigate. Curiosity got the better of me, and I gently pried Tyson's fingers away from what he was holding. My breath caught in my chest, still feeling him a little warm. Or maybe it was just me being hopeful he wasn't really gone. It's a medal. Huh. The hell? A medal? Like the one Orlando found? It looks like it, yeah. I wonder where he got it from. I wonder. Hoss, how long did the cops say they'd take to get here? Say they dispatch right away, but didn't give a specific time. But I imagine if a body has been found, they won't delay on that. I looked up from the medal placed in. I looked up from the medal, placed it back in Tyson's hand. Figured it'd be best to leave everything in one place for the police to check out. I looked to the others, my vision blurring a little as what I'd seen finally began to sink in. The disbelief that Tyson was gone, dead, was fading fast, along with the shock of seeing his body firsthand. I know how Roswell felt. The same sickening feeling rumbles around in my gut, made me double over a little bit, quickly aided by Sal stepping in and rubbing my back. I don't feel so good. I don't. All at once, signaled, I don't know that word, by the voice cracking. Signaled? Signal. Yeah, okay. I do know that word. Maybe. My nose began to run, and the tears started to pour down my face. I began to bawl, wanting to cling to any hope that this was just a bad dream. Sal, get him inside. I'll wait out here with Haas until the cops get here. Don't worry, Dave. Won't let anything happen to him. Not that I really had a say in the matter, but Sal guided me inside, turning towards the dining room. I sat down next to Roswell and sat down across from us, keeping his eyes elsewhere. How are you feeling, Roswell? Better, for sure. I think having not had breakfast helped. I don't think I could have kept it down in the end. Upon the mention of food, I was simultaneously hungry and wanting to puke. I'm feeling so many things right now. It's starting to hurt my head. I'm sorry. There wasn't anything I could do. He was already gone when he was discovered. Were you the first to find him? Yes. You weren't the one who, right? No. I'll put it down to your emotions being the reason you ask, but no. He was dead when I found him, although it looked recent. Someone killed him right outside the house? Really? Yeah. From the looks of things, he'd been bleeding. From the looks of things, he'd been bleeding out for most of the night. Whatever happened to him, he fought right until he made it back here. That's something, I guess. A good something. That he fought until the end, I mean. And he came back here, too, so... You think he wanted to come back for help? Probably. Could just have been the only place he knew people were, as well. Hard to say. We sat in silence for a while before I noticed Sal looking around with a frown. Sal? Yes? You okay? For the most part. I'm just wondering where Orlando ended up. Orlando wasn't there. Curious. Huh. After I came outside, I don't think I saw him after we talked about how it happened. Oh, he left without telling you. He came in a little while ago, Dave. Said he wanted to check something downstairs. Downstairs? In the gym? Or the vault? You don't think wouldn't hurt to try, right? Well, I don't think he's going to be opening it, but it might be worth checking in on him. He looked as pale as I felt when he came by. All right, I'll go check out. Either of you come? Either of you want to come? Yeah, I just forgot a word there. That happens every time I read. I don't know. I don't know if I like have something like some sort of like mental thing that that causes that, but like I don't know. I'd rather sit here for a bit. I need to digest what happened. Same here. I don't really feel like moving. Still sort of sick, kind of. Not that I was any better, but my take on it, that distracting myself from it might help, if only in the short term. I could hear him before I'd even made it downstairs. Come on, work! Come on, please. Orlando? Oh, it's just you, Dave. What are you doing down here? Are you all right? I'm fine. Maybe a little relieved. Then, what are you doing? Oh, right. I was trying to open this door. Why's that? Well, I saw how you went pale immediately after you saw what happened outside, and I figured that maybe there was something that could, help? Make this better? Isn't there only supposed to be the scavenger hunt behind the isn't there only supposed to be the scavenger hunt prize behind this? Yeah, but I was hoping that maybe it was something we could use to revive Tyson, like a feet. Oh, okay. Man, I'd wish I could fucking Phoenix down that franchise, if you know what I mean. Or something that we could use to make this right. But you said you were relieved. Why go through the effort when, for you? You're probably my best friend by any margin, and seeing you hurt so much, almost breaking in an instant, it hurt my head to watch. I won't pretend to somewhat enjoy not having to fear him anymore. But whether or not you liked him more than a friend or not, I don't know. But I don't want to see my friend sad. I was clinging to hope that maybe there was something behind this door that could make you happy. Orlando, buddy. I was touched, drained, but touched all the same that he'd want to help. He and Tyson hadn't really ever had one interaction that was mutually friendly, and yet despite that, here Orlando was trying to, hoping for a way to bring him back to life. I think more than anything, I could just use a hug. In a flash, he was holding me against his chest, cuddling me close. He always gave the best hugs, something about how dragons run naturally warmer. But more than anything, that was having that tight squeeze both made me feel better and bring on the crying again. As I sobbed into his chest, he stroked my head, trying to calm me down. Soon enough, the police came, questioned all of us, took the body away, and a week later we had the funeral. Man, I have no idea what the password is supposed to be. I'm thinking about that now, and I'm just like, bruh, like, what am... is it gonna be Phoenix down? I'd be fucking ecstatic. But, like, is it supposed to be metal, since he had the metal in his hand? Is it claw marks? Is it fucking... Phoenix down? Is it fucking revive? What am I supposed to like? Cause in Dean's route it was the death cap. So it kind of, but we don't know what the murder weapon was this time, or at least like I don't know. I'm a bit worried about that, I guess. Like I don't want to just sit there and typing in shit and it's gonna like beep at me. But I guess if I can't figure out the password for this, then I'll just go to Dean's route. Like an idiot, right? We were only at the mansion for the rest of the day before Benson arranged transport back home. Not sure who spoke to him about it, but he was on the money about us wanting to get out of there. As far as I heard, none of us were being charged with killing him, which was a relief that all my friends were innocent. But the only ones at the funeral were were Roswell, myself, and Sal. Really? Really? Orlando didn't show up? Dean didn't show up? Haas didn't show up? Like, what? Orlando couldn't bring himself to... Okay, that makes sense. And Dean and Haas wanted to just put the whole thing behind them. You know, there's such a thing as being there for your friend, you know? But okay. Okay, Dean. It didn't seem there were many there. I don't think I ever saw Tyson's dad, despite them living together. Well, that's over at least. Yeah. Rest in peace, Tyson. I still feel numb to it all. Not sad or angry, just numb. The funeral cemented what I'd been holding on to the past week. But Sal explained that I was still working through the stages of grief or something. Oh, right. I was meaning to ask, Roswell, who were you talking to? Huh? What do you mean? Was that a relative of yours? Seemed to know you. Oh, that guy, can't say I'd seen him before, but supposedly he had a message for me from the people that owned the mansion to pass on. Pass on to who? You, actually. Here. Roswell handed me an envelope, a seal keeping it closed. Aside from that, it was blank, with no addressee or return address. Gonna open it? Yeah, I'm gonna open it. I tore it open and scanning the words. I'm truly sorry for your loss. No amount of grieving will ever change his fate, and in his memory, I'll impart some wisdom that aided me when I lost someone dear to me. My throat felt dry, but I continue reading, eyes flicking to Roswell and Sal. To avoid drowning within your sadness, take refuge in your friends. Seek their comfort and take the days one at a time. Mutual support will help you through this and the days to come. The name of the game has and always will be solidarity. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna write down that word. Solidarity. Okay. Seems like sound advice. Wait, there's more. Let's see. Losing someone is always hard, but in death, sadness, or themselves. To my shame, I failed to see this despite happening multiple times before me. As a favor to yourself, if you notice your friends behaving strangely, do whatever it takes to keep them safe. Accept the possible backlash and the reality that may not be your friends afterwards, but always act within the interest of your friends. And then it just said, it's signed OH. Is this Oz? And because the manor was called like Hammond Mansion, so like I'm assuming that's the O is for Oz and or whatever. I don't know. I'm just thinking. OH seems strange not to write your name. Still, the thought behind it seems nice, if a little clinical. I have two questions though. For one, why send this? Talking about friendship is nice and all, but I know this, at least I think I do. I'm pretty selfless, right? I think so. But also, why is this word underlined in a different color? What word? Solidarity. It's a good word. Sums up the message well enough. Can I have a look? I handed the letter back to Roswell, who seemed intent on staring a hole through the paper with how hard he was looking at it. Solidarity? I wonder. Roswell. Oh, nothing. I was just thinking. I was thinking about things there for a moment. Anything I come up with as to why that's the case seems too silly to say out loud. Try me. Nothing more, whatever. Nothing really substantial, but maybe it's like that to stand out on purpose, to really make you remember the word and what it means. Although, if it's trying to make you remember this moment, it almost just seems like a mean thing to do. Don't doubt the good intention of another Roswell. Death is hard. Helping others through it is just as hard. Everyone copes differently. So what happens now? Not sure. Probably go home, try to do something to cheer myself up. I'm probably doing the same. Probably gonna take a long shower and mull things over under the water and get an early night. That doesn't sound too bad, really. Dave. Yeah? Are you going to be okay? I think so, eventually. Call on us anytime. If it will help, we'll be there for you. A couple of weeks went by, and I fell out of touch with Roswell. Apparently, he had moved away again. Dean and Haas were the same, having moved away. Sal was the only one I still saw at work, and occasionally we'd meet up to go see a movie. Things weren't the same, but they got better over time. I made new friends, but I never forgot my old ones despite them being nearly impossible to reach. Tyson's bad end. Interesting. Resonate? Yes. Solidarity. In the next moment, my head was pounding, ringing with a high-pitched squeal that seemed to take the wall thing. It didn't sound like an alarm, but it was assaulting me as if I'd done something wrong. And then the picture began to form in my mind. I felt my stomach lurch and buckle in my knees. The hell? Tyson? Whatever had happened in that thought, it looked ugly, like he'd been mauled by something aggressive as hell. He was outside at least, but where? When? Was this even real? Then all of a sudden it was quiet, and I was on my back, lying just before the vault door. What had compelled me to come down here anyway? All I got from it was a headache, and a jump scare from my own brain. Ugh. At least I'm awake now. I rubbed my head and wondered what it was. Was Tyson in danger? He couldn't be, right? Just some freaking hallucination and nothing more. I rubbed my head and went back up to my room to get changed before heading back down for breakfast. I mean, we still want to hang out with Ty. I still want to call him a bitch. Okay. You. Immediately, those words triggered a memory from earlier that day. The mangled corpse of Tyson in the morning outside, mauled and battered by who knows what out in the forest, or even worse, one of us in the house, as he returned to get his things. There was no way of knowing which it was, but the feeling that Tyson's life depended entirely on what I did next spurred me to move. We're going to save him. Because he's worth it. With the strength with what strength I mustered, I lunged forward and grabbed Tyson by the legs. Wait! The hell? Let go. Tyson tried tugging his legs away with no luck. I was latched on tight, and I wasn't planning on letting go. Next thing I knew, I was being grabbed and lifted up, held off the ground by my collar. You don't want me to go that bad. Why, though? If you go, you'll... I'll what, Dave? What could be that freaking important? If you go, you'll die. So you're threatening me now? You've got some nerve, pup. Please stay. I'll do anything. Just don't go out there. Tyson dropped me back to the ground, glowering, I don't know, at me as I pick myself up. Anything, huh? Anything. I was desperate. It was worth the risk, It wasn't worth the risk, was it? Part of me also didn't want to get punched again, and so far that wasn't happening. All right, I'll stay on one condition. I want your virginity. Jesus, okay. If there was any comment that was going to sober me up, it was going to be that. Wait, what? I'll get your virginity. You still got it, yeah? I do, yeah. Great. I'll claim it now. I felt a sinking feeling in my stomach, and I couldn't look at him. But this was a small price to pay for his life, right? Okay. Just give me a sec. No sooner had I grabbed my fly, I was grabbed by Tyson, and he gave me a hard stare. Inside, now, my room. I hung my head, shuffling along with Tyson as he led the way, holding my hand. We arrive in his room. He closed the door behind us, and he motioned to the bed. He took off his hoodie and his shirt, throwing them off to the side before crossing his arms. Well? I did the same, and it was different. Getting undressed actually didn't feel this way. Even in the presence of another person, something about somebody sizing you up as a piece of meat on display made an otherwise simple task all the more nerve-wracking. Okay, done. Pants next. Only pants. Last little bit to get removed. I waited for Tyson to do the same first, but instead he stared at me down, expecting me to make the first move. And much like removing my shirt, I felt exposed, vulnerable. I wasn't sure what to do with my hands, so I just hugged myself close, trying to keep myself from making eye contact. All right. Tyson approached and spurred me around by the shoulders, guiding me to the bed. Get on the bed, all fours, head down. I climbed onto the bed, trembled, shook before it started to caught up with me. I gripped the bed sheets and shut my eyes as hard as I could, almost holding my breath as what was to come. I heard movement behind me, Tyson rummaging around for something before hearing the pop of something opening, followed by the click of it closing again. And when I felt him touch me, I flinched. But that's all he did. Just touched, resting his hands on my hips. Minutes passed before he pulled away and instead sat down the bed next to me, sighing out. What the fuck is wrong with me? Well, that's a good question, Tyson. I stayed where I was, paralyzed from not knowing what was to come next. You don't want this. Hell, I don't want this. Not like this, anyway. And I'm not about to rape you either. Just, everything's so fucked. That was enough to bring me enough agency to sit cross-legged on the bed facing him, watching to see if what would happen next. How's your nose? I touched it and flinched at the sudden sting, pulling my hand away from it and feeling the slick with a slowly clotting blood. Fine, I think. Just sore. You seeing all right? Yeah, I think so. Dave, look, I'm just. He sighed out, shoulders slumping. I fucked up. Saying sorry doesn't really feel like it didn't cut it, though, you know? Yeah, well, yeah. We sat in silence for a bit. Trying his. Tyson keeping his eyes locked to the floor. So, what caused all this? Nothing. Yeah, right, nothing. Spill it. Okay, you win. I don't do too good with the feelings talk, yeah. Much rather do or show than just talk about it. I don't really want to be punched again, but the gym is just downstairs if you need to burn off some steam. Nah, no, just give me a minute. He breathed out again before shooting me a firm stare, holding my gaze and shuffling close. Why do you put yourself out for me? What? Answer the damn question. Oh, sure. I just don't think you're that bad of a person. Not deep down, anyway. And we're friends, right? I gulped, nodding slowly, watching as Ty's facade began to crack. It's what friends do for people they care about. Tyson backed off, stretching. So what, so much that you'd just hand over your V card just 'cause I want it? Given what was at stake, yeah. Yeah, bullshit. Although you've got balls, I'll tell you that much. Do you want it, though? Tyson flicked his gaze my way before looking off, visibly uneasy. If I want it that bad, you'd either have my dick in your mouth or be biting down on a pillow with my dick in your ass. Then why ask for it at all? Look, I'm no queer, right? I mean, this is a furry VN. That automatically means everyone is. It's the law. Huh? End of the day, whole is a whole, right? But maybe, like, it'd be nice if there was more than that, yeah? Oh. I didn't know. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but... Now hold the fucking phone. I don't know what I meant. I was just thinking out loud. All I know is that I've got your back. That's it. We'll try to be cute about it, right? Just don't punch me again, please. Deal, and I'm sorry. Ty shuffles closer and pulls me into a hug. Are these two still naked? Questioning. Into a tight hug. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. It was likely just the lack of clothes. Yeah, okay. But I was getting cold. Being close to Tyson was keeping me warm, even with just his chin resting on my head. Oh, you're probably cold, huh? Go get your stuff, I guess. I slipped off of Tyson's bed as Ty let me go, shuffling to get my clothes I'd discarded. You probably want some time alone now, yeah? Probably. Probably a good idea. Let's make the bad decision. But what if I wanted to stay? I could... What? I mean, unless you don't want me around. No. No, that's not it. Just figured you might want to... Just figured you might not want to be near me before. Look, what you did was the worst thing you've done so far, by a long mile. No rational person should stick around with someone that punches them for any reason, let alone putting them in a situation where they're coral, whatever, into anything sexual. Then what makes you special? Because I've got, I because I've got your back. Let's go with that option. I've got your back, like you've got mine. You're hopeless, you know that? Ty sighed, getting up off the bed. I think I'm going to have a shower and hit the sack. I have a lot to think about. Already started to get a headache. Oh, all right. You gonna be okay? Should be asking you that question. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be all right, pup. Just have a lot on my mind, but if you want to chat some more later, shoot me a text first. Right. He came in close and gave me another tight squeeze before stepping back and heading into his bedroom. Me, on the other hand, put my shirt on and sheepishly left the room, heading to mine with my tail between my legs. Luckily, I didn't run into anyone between Tyson's room and mine, and rather than put my pants back on, I dumped them on the floor and got under the covers. 5 minutes later, I rubbed my nose the wrong way, and I remembered that I had been bleeding earlier and took a shower. By the time I got out, I felt refreshed, clean. There was a sound of distant thunder, made me whatever. With the sound of the roller coaster, I figured that could make the night. I lay on the side of my bed and thunder. I feel like this is the I can't skip. Okay, something about laying on my own bed. I kept imagining myself on Tyson's bed with him nearby, almost as if his scent had rubbed off on me so much that it lingered even after a shower. The worst of it was, despite the circumstances, it wasn't the first time I'd considered messing around with Tyson, even potentially as my first. But there was always that fear that he'd take it too far, or maybe that want of something more stopped me from ever asking. Hell, there was always a doubt that he'd actually go for guys despite how he behaved. I clutched my head, growing as the thought started to have an effect on me. It wasn't a case of blue balls, but for sure the start of an awkward boner. The longer I lay there, the more I noticed the faintest and background noise seemingly coming from everywhere in the room, the walls themselves breathing. Okay, so this is... Okay, it's the scene with Oz. Okay. Where are you? I'm with you in the mansion. The camera. I don't want to just hit the skip button because it'll like... From who? Truthfully, that is not a simple question. Yeah, okay. I just want to get to the end of day thing, you know? Know what I mean? Is what it is. And Benson's doing things. Man, now I don't know who to choose though. Now that I'm caught up with where I was with Dean's route, like I kind of like Tyson. Like he's an ass, but I kind of feel like that's kind of fun and like kind of fun to read. But I guess I was kind of hoping that like he wouldn't be as like aggressive as Dean. But, you know, he's just aggressive, but in like a different way. So, yeah, I'll stay. That brings me much relief. Yes, yes, yes. I already read this. It is what it is. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I'll go back to Dean for a bit. Like bounce between them. I feel like that would be really terrible for an audience member though. But that sounds like something like how I would play this. It's just like bounce around, have some fun, you know. But okay. Okay. Yes, okay, they'll save. I guess I should go back to Dean's route. That sounds like the responsible thing to do for the LP, but I don't know. It is what it is. I guess I'll just like on the fly decide next time whether to do Dean or Tyson, like continue those routes. So see you then.